Today we'll be talking about vitamin D deficiency. We'll be talking about the risks associated with vitamin D deficiency, and we'll be talking about ways of getting enough of this life-enhancing vitamin. And I realize that those are big words, but this vitamin is absolutely essential if you want to achieve maximum health. So personally, I have never been vitamin D deficient, but after my last pregnancy, I wasn't feeling great and I had some blood taken. And it turned out that I was at the lower end of the spectrum. Now here's the problem. That spectrum is absolutely humongous. It's way too big if you ask me. You don't want to be down at the lower end because you're still going to be immune compromised down here. You want to be at the middle end or at the upper end. So what are some of the symptoms associated with vitamin D deficiency? Well, you can have muscle weakness, you can have sore bones, or you can become ill quite a lot, any immune stuff, or you can have no symptoms whatsoever. So what are the risks? All kinds of bone diseases, because you need vitamin D in order for your body to assimilate any calcium that you get from the food you eat. So if you're low on vitamin D, you're not going to get enough calcium, meaning you may be at risk of getting osteoporosis, osteomalacia, or rickets in children. Other diseases are diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, depression, and also some kind of infectious diseases and cancers. Now, we are increasingly becoming more and more deficient in this vitamin. And the reason for that is the fear of the sun. Because there's this real risk of getting skin cancer, we do tend to protect ourselves a lot more from the sun, and so we should. But the problem is when you put on SPF 30, the skin is no longer able to produce any vitamin D from the sun. Because vitamin D is not really a vitamin, we just call it that. It's really a hormone that's produced in the skin when the skin is exposed to the sun. So what can you do about it? Well, you can still go in the sun, and according to Dr. Michael Holick, who's really one of the biggest authorities in this field, he's dedicated his whole life to researching vitamin D. He suggests that you sit out in the sun between 9 and 3 for anywhere between 5 to 15 minutes. This all depends on your skin tone and your pigment. And you sit there with that sunscreen on. You just wait until your skin goes slightly red, just a red tinge, slightly. You do not want to burn because you don't want to put yourself at risk of getting skin cancer. Now, in my case, it's probably more like 3 or 4 minutes. So, you know, if you are, let's say, an English rose, maybe you can do the same as me, 3 to 4 minutes, whereas someone like Brazilian beauties, you might be able to do 7, 10 minutes. It's all subjective. But there is a way to actually make it more specific, and there's a good app that you can download. It is called D-Minder. Dr. Michael Holick has been behind this. You can download it for free at iTunes, and there's a link below if you're interested in doing that. You just put in a few details, your location, your pigments, and a few other things. It'll calculate everything for you, and it'll also tell you how much vitamin D you've actually accumulated the time you spend in the sun. Another source of vitamin D is vitamin D-rich foods such as eggs, butter, organ meat such as liver, and you can get that in your pate if you don't like to eat liver. Any oily fish such as salmon. Be aware if it's farm salmon, you won't get much vitamin D. And my last source is to get it from a supplement. According to Dr. Michael Holick, he suggests anywhere between 1,000 to 2,000 IU a day. So consider whether you're getting enough from the sun, you're getting a little bit from the vitamin D rich sources, and then you may only need 1,000 IU. But let's say you don't really eat much of those vitamin D rich sources, you don't expose yourself to the sun, you probably need 2,000. If you are deficient, you'll need more than 2,000 IU a day. And I'll suggest you go and see your own healthcare professional just to get a more personalized dosage for you. Let's summarize what we've gone through today. So we've been talking about vitamin D deficiency and how prevalent it's becoming. And unfortunately, there's some severe risks associated with it. The good news is that you can do something about it. There are 3 main sources where you can get it from, and I suggest that you actually use all 3 sources in conjunction to get optimum amounts. So you can get it from your foods, your vitamin D rich foods from the sun and from a supplement between 1,000 to 2,000 IU a day. Now, if you enjoyed this segment, if you learned something, please leave a comment below, or if you think someone in your family, maybe a friend, could benefit from this information, feel free to share. It's all below. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.